On a snowy winter day in Northeast Ohio, you can walk into a warm greenhouse and see fresh fruits and vegetables thriving. Crop King in Lodi is a family-owned business run by Paul Brentlinger. I caught up with him to discuss how controlled environment agriculture and hydroponics are impacting the industry. First off, tell me about this facility right here and why it's important for your business here at Crop King.
Sure. So we're in about a 3,000 square foot greenhouse. We would refer to this as a research, training, and show place. And so we specialize in setting people up in commercial vegetable crop production. And so when we're selling them a system, they like to be able to see that we know what we're talking about. And so we bring them here for that from a show place perspective. And then about 9 months out of the year, we hold grower training workshops here. So we'll bring in anywhere from 12 to 20 people who are either current growers or who are interested in getting into this as a career path, or educators. And then we do a 2-day training class, and we utilize this greenhouse for that. And then we also do a lot of research and development. So there's probably 6 or 7 different varieties of tomatoes in here. We're researching some strawberry production. And then we're actually installing a new mobile system in our lettuce side on Monday that we're doing some research on, that we've been developing for the last year.
And it's amazing how much the industry has changed over the last 20 years and how much people are really getting more invested and more involved in hydroponic systems in farming, this controlled agriculture industry, right?
For sure, yeah. The interest that you see in CEA, or controlled environment agriculture, over the last even just decade has been very impressive, with the investment dollars that have been flowing into the industry. What we've seen in the vertical farming industry side of things, the excitement and focus on that has been growing by leaps and bounds. I mean, if you go back 20 years, there were plenty of people who didn't know what hydroponics was. Mm-hmm. And I would say that today you can't hardly pick up a business magazine or read a news article, and there's so much of this in the news today. It's really becoming a established segment of our food supply chain.
And there's so much science that goes into all of this as well that folks may not realize, all the different varieties of tomatoes that are here, right?
For sure. We've got probably, again, 6 or 7 different varieties in here, and they're always coming out with new varieties that we're doing some trialing and testing on. We're doing some testing versus grafting plants onto a different rootstock and comparing to those varieties without grafting them onto a different rootstock. So there's a lot of science that goes into it. There's a lot that goes into designing or breeding varieties specific to do well in a greenhouse environment. And so with tomatoes, a lot of that work has been done. For an example, if you go back again, say 25 years, 90% of the tomatoes that we consumed in the U.S. were grown in the field. Today, over 90% of the tomatoes that we consume in the U.S. are grown in some form of controlled environment agriculture. And so you've just seen this complete flip-flop of where that comes from. With lettuce, I would say that we're still about maybe 15% of the lettuce we consume is grown in a controlled environment ag space. And I would guess that in the next 5 to 7 years, we'll see that flip-flop as well to be more like 80% of what we consume grown in a controlled environment ag situation.
And it's so important to have that opportunity for, again, tomatoes. If you have a really rainy season, it's really going to ruin your tomatoes, right? Some varieties of plants that are grown are more susceptible to changes in the environment. So to have that controlled capability is really important for farmers to extend their yield and extend their growing season realistically, right?
Well, truly all agriculture is dramatically affected by our weather and what's changing. Right now, literally right now, we're seeing it in California with the heavy rains and the strawberry destruction that's happening out there right now. Like, there's a lot of the strawberry crop. I think it's in the hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars of loss based on these recent storms that we've seen in California. And so that's really where you see a lot of interest on the strawberries right now coming into controlled environment agriculture. I would say if you go back 5 years, there was nobody really growing scale strawberries in hydroponics or in greenhouses, and today there are some large players in that space. So yes, whether it's tomatoes, lettuce, or strawberries, or even corn, right? If you plant your corn too early and you get an early frost or a late frost, then you're going to lose a crop.
So the demand for controlled environment agriculture is really going to expand.
Continue to expand, yeah. And it's not just from a weather perspective, it also allows us to localize, right? We're standing here in Ohio, it's February, and it's 32 degrees outside, and we're harvesting fresh lettuce next door. We're picking strawberries right here, and in a couple of months, we'll be harvesting tomatoes off of these plants behind us. And so it allows you to localize your food production, which is a big driver right now in the space.
And that's so important for the quality of the food that's produced to have it localized, right?
Absolutely. The nutritional value of fresh produce starts to degrade the second it's harvested. So with lettuce, the second that it comes out of the field, you're starting to lose nutritional value. Same with tomatoes or strawberries. And so there's a limited time frame that you can get these into people's hands and have it still be nutrient-dense food. And so localizing that production definitely helps with that. And another thing that's driving that is the whole concept of food is medicine, and that's a big deal right now. And so having produce in people's hands as quick as you can get it to them is really a big important factor.
Especially considering there are so many food deserts across the country. So to provide systems like this in areas like that is so critical. And you all know that with the work that you do with the food bank as well, and all that you offer and give to the community in terms of fresh local produce, how vital that is, right?
For sure. So everything that we grow here, this is research, we don't sell any of this. Our employees take it home, and whatever they don't take home, the Medina Food Bank takes. We work with the Dayton Food Bank. They have a 2-bay greenhouse to where they're growing lettuce that they put into their food supply. And we're working heavily with Mid-Ohio Food Bank down in Columbus right now to set up hydroponic systems. And not just for them to produce food, but also to educate on nutrition, preparation. Down at Mid-Ohio Food Bank, they've got a whole event center that they've planned around this garden concept that incorporates hydroponics and greenhouses.
And again, working within the school systems too, to get kids to see these types of systems and get them involved in the technology behind it and see where they can really get involved in agriculture in really unique and innovative ways, right?
Yeah, so it's been a fun space for me to get involved in. I've really enjoyed working with the schools. What we are doing hits STEM, which is obviously a big push in our school system, so well from a science, technology, engineering, and math perspective. You can accomplish all of those disciplines and apply them to hydroponics. And so we're currently working on a curriculum that we've got a handful of pilot teachers testing right now to give us feedback. And then we will roll that out this summer. We'll be doing an educators workshop to bring teachers in and kind of help them understand how to incorporate this into their daily lesson plans. The key that we've recognized with teachers who are overworked and underpaid as a general rule is that they need it to be convenient and easy for them to plug into. And so a couple of the things that we recognized when we started working with them was, one, funding can be an issue. And so we started working with different, different grant writers in order to help them get the funding. And then the second thing that we recognized was that they don't all understand hydroponics. Like, it's still not everybody knows how to do this. And so if we can make it easier for them to incorporate by providing them with daily lesson plans and data tracking charts and all of that type of information, it makes their lives easier and really allows them to incorporate it better. Whether it's problem-based learning or even just getting the kids to understand and eat nutritiously, doing this in a classroom really draws a lot of attention to it. There have been studies done that show that when these kids are involved and grow this product themselves, that the amount of salads that are taken at their school cafeterias go up. Like, it's wild. If you just get these kids involved, which they want to be, they just don't understand it, and if you teach it to them, they love it, and then you can see them eat healthier as they do it, which helps every aspect of their education.
So what else do you want folks to know about Crop King and all the work that you're doing here in Lodi?
So hydroponics has been a passion of ours. We're a 42-year-old company. We started doing this before most people knew how to pronounce the word hydroponics. And so as we've seen this really transpire into a big part of our food supply system, we want people to understand that you can still make this work on a small scale. Our main customer is going to be that 5 to 10,000 square foot grower who is either trying to bring the next generation back to the farm and they can't go buy another 500 acres to support it, but they can put a greenhouse on half an acre of their farm and support that next generation. We want people to understand that this local food movement is a big deal and isn't going away. It's not just a fad. Farmers markets, this is part of our future of our food in the United States for the foreseeable future. And that's what we want to do as far as helping people succeed in. Crop King has well over 100 years of horticultural experience on staff, and our goal is to support our growers after the sale. We've been doing this for over 4 decades. We're not in this to make sure we sell one more greenhouse. We're in this to help people succeed at doing small-scale, localized, controlled environment agriculture.
Because there are so many benefits to having a controlled environment. Besides just increasing your crop yield and your growing season, it cuts down on diseases, invasive species, a lot of different factors. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So where can folks go if they want to find out more about Crop King and the systems that you all offer?
Well, so for sure, our website at cropking.com. You can check us out on Facebook or Instagram as well.
And then if folks want to get involved in the workshops or get more information about getting more systems in the schools, what can they do?
So our workshops are listed on our website. Our first one for the year starts in April, and then we'll do one a month all the way through November. And we do have an educators workshop, I think that we're doing in June or July, but that's also on our website as far as the actual date. And if we get a good turnout or demand for that, we'll add more of those as well throughout the year. I just appreciate any opportunity to talk about hydroponics. This is my passion. I love it, and I'm so glad that you were able to come out and learn more about it.
In Lodi, I'm Amanda Mangan for In Ohio Country Today.